chị Mhm. Mhm.
Hello, everyone. Good evening from Lagos and other parts of the world. You're welcome to GSDBA Seminar Series. Today we're discussing breeding program with our delectable host, CEO, founder of Dreams Next Kennel, Mr. Musibao Rufai. Well, to us. Apologies for that. So a quick introduction. I believe we shared a brief profile on our speaker today. I will hand over the microphone to him so that he can introduce himself and then adequately start up the seminar. I can guarantee you it will be an interesting one. So I hope you have your questions. Well, everyone, sit tight and let's enjoy. Mr. Musibao, you have the microphone.
Thank you very much, Manny. Good evening, everybody. I don't know if I'm clear, if I'm audible to everybody.
Yes, you are, sir.
Fantastic.
Good evening, good afternoon, good day to everybody from wherever our corners are. Okay, my name is Rufai Musibao. I have bred under the pseudonym of Dreams Nest over the years. I want to thank GSDBA, the board and the management, as well as COBA, both the board and the entire management and members, for giving me this platform to share experiences with colleague breeders. Good evening, everybody.
Wonderful evening to you too, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Welcome. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
My pleasure. Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. So may I start?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so basically the topic under discussion is German Shepherd dog breeding program. You know, as breeders, we need to reiterate among ourselves certain aspects of the program. Breeding is not a haphazard, disjointed activity. And it is to this end that I have put this paper together. So permit me to read, and then at the end, I'll take questions. So please note any areas, any gray areas where you require clarity so that I can address them at the end of the day. Okay, so you have registered your breeding kennel name with FCI. Congratulations. I think that's a step in the right direction. But do you have a breeding program? What are your breeding goals and plans to achieve those goals? How much of your breed do you actually know? Do you have the required intellectual, visionary, financial, emotional, and psychological capacity and stamina to pick yourself up and keep going when the ground shifts beneath you and the walls collapse? These are some of the questions I would like to engage us on this evening. So let's dive in. I want to define a German Shepherd dog breeding program as a deliberate and organized set of coordinated activities designed to produce specific types of German Shepherd dogs. It is deliberate because it is intentional. It is not a chance activity or event. It's deliberate and is organized. And once it is established, it becomes a sort of an assembly line for the continuous creation of dogs who looks and act alike, yet different from other breeds. It's the breeding program that ensures improvement in subsequent dogs because performance is documented, measured, tested, and all current results helps to direct the future. Now, think of this as you would think of a school syllabus, a factory blueprint, or a project terms and scope of reference, which all require planning around the achievement of clear and precise goals. This template is clearly defined, measurable.
I beg, I don't your picture. I don't have picture fake. I've got this thing. Bring the come one by one. Get me that brown one come. Please come over there.
Hello.
Apologies. We will do the muting of the background shortly, so you can carry on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I was saying that a breeding program is similar to a school syllabus, for example, or a factory blueprint. Now, the template is clearly defined, it is measurable because the objective and it is reproducible, such that if you handed over the template to another person, as long as they stick to the subject matter, they will achieve same set of goals. And I've also realized that in our environment and in the world generally, the world of cynology, the lack of cohesive breeding programs is partly responsible for the unhealthy, skittish, aggressive couch potatoes, lacking breed type and solid nerves that we see everywhere today. It is better to be just an enthusiast who loves dogs, to just be a fancier who likes to be in the presence of beautiful dogs, or to just own a dog just be an owner without necessarily becoming a breeder. When you do not have a clear program or goal, you can spare yourself the buying public and the future of our breed, the misery that will certainly come from getting involved in breeding if you don't have a program or you don't have clear goals. Now, the breed itself, our German Shepherd breed, was created around 1899 under the aegis of the SV to be a loyal, healthy, well-socialized, clear-headed, medium-sized, working/service dog. Loyal, healthy, well-socialized, clear-headed, medium-sized, working service dog. Its physical proportions, temperament, character, and nature was clearly defined from the beginning. There were no ambiguities from the beginning. Our interest as breeders is to promote the welfare and the well-being of this breed as we met it, and not to reinvent the wheel. We are not creating another breed, but we are ensuring that the breed, as we met it, that we improve the breed. This breed was designed to look and act as it does for reasons established by the founding father and the mother club, SV. As with everything, yes, there's room for continuous improvement in its health, its character, and its many roles in an ever-evolving world. However, this should not be seen as a license to destroy the breed essence, which is service in grace. It's a graceful animal that serves mankind in all spheres of our activities and our lives. Now, what is a German Shepherd dog breeding stock? A German Shepherd dog that has a valid pedigree recognized by the WUSV/FCI with certified hips as normal or almost normal, certified elbows as free, intermediate, or mild, assessed at least good under a judge at a recognized breed survey, is DNA profiled, and has passed character test, becomes breeding stock. I take this again. Breeding stock is not a matter of opinion. What constitutes breeding stock of German Shepherd is a dog that possesses valid pedigree. This pedigree is recognized by the governing bodies of the breed and the International Cynology Association, which is the FCI. This dog has his elbow and hip certified. This dog has scored at least a good under a judge at a recognized breed survey. This dog is DNA profiled, and this dog has passed character test. That's where we can call that dog a breeding dog, a breeding stock in our breed. Anything short of this does not qualify to breed. This is not my opinion. This is a standard, best practice standard. Now, this definition refers to both objective and subjective parameters contributing to defining a dog that can be bred. Please note that a breeding dog is also one that possesses the capacity to contribute meaningfully to the future of the breed by reproducing himself, and even better, in a uniform and expected manner that seems like a stamp. So let me make it clear at this point. So a dog can look good and act great, but if he is incapable of reproducing these traits, how is used to the breeder and to the future of our breed will be quite limited, because what soon gets around that he doesn't produce what he looks like, what he acts like. It's just for the looks. We're talking about breeding here. The breeding program requires a dog that produces quality that's defined. Now, a dog who has good character but breeds poor character, despite being paired with different dogs, has little breeding value, and his breeding career should be short. A dog producing a cocktail of traits or salad demonstrates weak genetic base to build a line on. I'll give you an example. A dog has great character, but 40 to 80% of its breeding are weak-nerved. Of what use is such a dog to us? And this happens over and again, despite being paired to different breeds. Such a dog has limited use for us in the program. Now, this capacity to pass on type is the most powerful gift a breeding dog or bitch can offer a breeder who is building a line of dogs that will look as phenotype and act in a manner that promotes the breed essence. The most important parts of a dog are not seen with our naked eyes. Health, as important as it is, can barely be seen with our naked eyes. Character defects are also hidden from plain view until further investigation reveals them, and sometimes it is too late. And this is why we must test before we produce. Because once we have produced, we have done a disservice to the pups that we have produced. If we find out later that they are carrying traits that we don't want to carry forward, that's not in the interest of the breed. As a result of this, we should not be overwhelmed by what we see alone. We see size, we see color, we see pigments, we see lush coats, but all this pale in the face of crippling hips and elbow degeneration, or fear biting, or mindless aggression from dogs. While the show ring will teach about how well your dog looks, like the standard, in terms of the dentition, its size, its proportion, its coat, if it possesses both testicles, the conformation judges are mostly satisfied with minimal performance display. So, and that's why you will see that a lot of VA dogs in the show line have very weak bite work performance. Some of them are actually shy just by being in the VA class with all their glorious aesthetics. However, a field trial will tell you more about your dogs, just as health tests of the hips, elbows, eyes, heart, and blood reveal more about your dog. Breeding goal. At the center, at the core of every breeding program is the goal. What do we hope to achieve from the program? And the goal of the German Shepherd breeding program is the deliberate creation of dogs that mirror the German Shepherd breed standard as approved as closely as possible. I admit that the breed has recently, around 1990s, split between dogs that please the eyes in the show ring and those who excel in the walking on the fields and in pure work tests, showcasing workability, courage, sniffing, and protection prowess under human control, into completely different genetic pools within the same breed. But still, the properly bred German Shepherd dog, either in the ring or field or at home or on the street, must be a healthy, loyal, stable, and intelligent dog, possessing breed type and readiness and capacity to live and work with its human family. To breed this dog is the goal that must be ruthlessly pursued by all breeders of our breed. To achieve this goal, all unhealthy, disloyal, unstable GSDs, lacking breed type, willingness, and capacity to work with humans, and lacking courage should be removed from the program, from the breeding pool, and allowed to enjoy an anonymous life in retirement. A German Shepherd dog need not breed if it does not possess breed quality. Any dog who does not meet the criteria of a breeding stock should not be bred, despite our emotional sentiments. Not all dogs need to breed. Not all dog buyers or dog owners should breed. Not all males should stud, and not all female is a brood bitch. The breeder's work is difficult enough without adding avoidable baggage. Only the breeder who does not wear rose-tinted glasses, who subjects his dogs to objective and subjective third-party evaluations and real-life work and regular tests stand any chance of success. Possible breeding goals are creation of police service dogs, military service dogs, narcotic dogs, even show dogs, therapy dogs, seeing dogs, etc. These are possible goals that can constitute niches for breeders to tap into and work towards. But whatever breeding goal we choose, we must not sacrifice the health, loyalty, character, or breed type of the breed, or we miss the mark altogether. Our breed must remain true to type. Our breed is not a Malinois or a Labrador, although it's able to perform similarly to those breeds in certain areas. Now, we've discussed the breeding program and the goals, possible goals that can drive the program. But we need to have a breeding plan. To achieve the breeding goal, we need a breeding plan, which is a roadmap from ideation to creation of value. This plan comprises of a clear step-by-step progression from where we are to the destination or to the goal. Ideally, it should be in black and white so that it becomes a document that we can consult from time to time. It can guide our focus. Now, the content of this plan will be the size or scope of the entire program, the resources available, resources required to prosecute the program, resources in terms of financial capacity, facility, kennel facility, the dogs themselves, trainings, research, vet expenses, trials, medicals, character testing, marketing, and all activities around achieving the goal. This also must include existing and potential risks that breeders are exposed to. How do we manage these risks? This should be given all the seriousness it deserves. In project planning, we'll do a SWOT analysis. We need to also do a SWOT analysis for a breeding program so that we identify our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats that face the program and how to utilize our strengths, compensate for our weaknesses, explore opportunities available, and work around the threats. The golden rule is to start small because there's a whole lot to deal with. Small allows us to learn about our dog's health, character, etc. We also need to reduce our expectation from dogs outside our kennel because all kennels possess secrets. All kennels have their own secrets. And when you buy into another kennel to breed to your kennel, you are also buying into those secrets and they are going to blow up in your face someday. You need to research bloodlines relentlessly. The breed is just about 100 years old. There are pedigrees that go back to the beginning of our breed. 15 generation pedigrees that will take you back to the beginning. You need to research those pedigrees and identify what those lines are producing and what both good or bad and what they are not producing. Stay true to your goal, otherwise you fail before you take off. Eventually, the dog you get is a reflection of your knowledge and network, which boils down to self-development. Now, what this means is that a dog, you should continue to school yourself, teach yourself, expose yourself, study pedigrees, watch shows, talk to older breeders, contemporary breeders, read books, read genetics, read about genetics, read about the health of our breed. Look for patterns. The information that build your dive into entire bloodline. Check offspring. What are these dogs producing? What are their litter mates producing? Are these dogs just genetic flukes? Or there's actually a prepotence of genetic material? Ask questions. You may not get answers, but keep asking. Avoid those who don't answer your questions. German Shepherds are not equally bred or equally talented, even within the same litter. That's why you see a lot of VAs whose litter mates have disappeared through the cracks. Just one person, one member of the litter has the capacity or talent to go forward. Join a local club, join a national club. It exposes you to more dogs. It exposes you to more dog people. The more dogs you see and research, the more dog people you interact with, the better your judgment will be about the breed. This will also expose you to rules about standards, about testing, about updates, about shows, about affiliations that you will not have access to if you are working on your own. Now, when it's time to secure your dogs, get dogs from health-tested stock, temperament-tested stock. After observing dogs, either physically or vicariously, there are enough, in 2025, there are enough material. We are awash with materials that will assist us in taking decisions about what dog or what pup to buy. When the pup you want has not been born, please wait. That patience will pay off in the long run. Okay, now let us also note that no quality breeding stock is cheap. If it's cheap, you should also check. You should look again. You should seek for advice because no valuable breeding stock is ever cheap. Now, I want to talk about the health of our breed. The health of our breed, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the most important, if not actually the most important part of our dog. As breeders ourselves, with both the general dog health issues as well as those that are typical to our breed. The most intelligent, the most loyal, the most breed typical dog is completely useless if it cannot walk because of damaged joints or osteoarthritis, poor heart and eye health, or is prone to epileptic seizure. It's completely useless. There are a few things more distressing to watch than a dog suffering from pains created by the breeder behind the dog. Let us be very clear about this. Our breeds suffer from a whole lot of health issues. Hips and elbow dysplasia, we are familiar with that. Degenerative myelopathy, osteoarthritis, pano, bloat. If you ever see bloat kill a German Shepherd within an hour, you will take it serious. Our breed also is beset with exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, different types of cancer, different types of inflammation, disorders, and diseases. Our breed is also beset with epilepsy, allergies, thyroid disorders, and several blood disorders. A lot of these are genetic in nature and can be tested for. And we should avail ourselves every opportunity to test our breeding stock. Buy only from health and temperament tested stock. Whose breeders owners not only oblige you all the test results. Accept no stories. It is not enough to say, oh yes, I've tested my dogs. Have to see the x-rays if possible. Ask for the certifications if possible. And if these are not forthcoming, please move on. In addition, commit to testing your own stock as you also raise dogs before you start breeding. It is the responsible way to go. Place your pups in homes that will promote their well-being and potentials to promote your work. The only chance of success is for rigorous breeding, stock testing, and selection based on the results. The sex of the dog we want to acquire. The choice of what sex to acquire is purely contextual. So what is suitable for a beginner, for example, differs from another who is further on in the journey. The age-old practice of starting from a foundation beach, in my opinion, has been taken to ridiculous proportion in our country. Over 90% of starters just buy a female, any female, however unqualified for breeding, then shop for the next top male, whether it complements the pitch or not, as long as his name can be used to push puppies into the market. This has created a glut of unqualified bitches chasing after very few stalls who may not necessarily be suitable for them. After all, there is no stud who can complement all bitches. Sadly, this holds true for all breeds. As a breeder, you need to stand apart with clear ideas about your destination. This is what should determine the sex of your next dog, not what other breeders are doing. What works for somebody else may not work for you. No two breeders dream the same dream. Please drive your own dream. In breeding, there are basically two systems. To achieve desired traits in breeding, we adopt a deliberate mating style or breeding system. This is majorly categorized into two, inbreeding and outbreeding. Every other type of breeding system falls under this. Line breeding falls under inbreeding. Outcrossing falls under outbreeding. They're a subset of the above. Now, inbreeding is the production of offspring or progeny from genetically related animals to lock in desirable traits, create new breeds, and prepotent animals. However, the strength of this system is also its weakness, as the increase of homozygosity applies to both desirable and undesirable alleles. That is genetic sequence, which can lead to inbreeding depression, loss of vigor in terms of poor fertility, poor health, poor litter size, creation of negative traits from deleterious alleles, and weakened immune systems, and eventually shorter lives. The list goes on. Inbreeding must be controlled to prevent popular sire syndrome, attendant cocktail of health and reproductive problems associated with its use. Tools like coefficient of inbreeding, coefficient of relationship have been developed to measure the probability of an animal inheriting two identical alleles from a common ancestor and the degree of relationship between the two individual dogs. Point to be noted here is the less the relationship, the better. Outbreeding refers to the breeding process of mating animals that are not closely related to produce offsprings that are more genetically diverse, possess hybrid vigor, and have more robust general health, growth, and reproduction. It is used to counter the effects of inbreeding depression. Care must be taken to avoid a situation where we produce a bit of everything due to genetic incompatibilities. Outbreeding depression is as bad as and real as inbreeding depression also. Selection of a mating partner, I'll just say speak a little about this. The program breeding goal should determine the choice of a mating partner naturally. Can I go on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Selection of mating partner. The breeding goal should determine the choice of a mating partner, not the available kennel stud. Yes, you have a stud in the kennel, but your stud is not in alignment with the goal for your next breeding. So you should not turn to that stud. It should not be the nearest stud because you are in Lagos, you only want to stud in Lagos. And it should also not be the passing fancy of the ring. Oh, there's a dog in Ibadan that is winning everything. I must breed to him. It shouldn't be necessarily because of that. You should always be driven by your goal. That winning dog may have very little impact and use to your bitch if it's carrying the same faults and flaws as your bitch. And you will just succeed in digging yourself deeper. At all times, start with health. What are your dog's weaknesses that you want to improve on, that you want to remove? A bitch with a borderline elbow dysplasia should not be taken to a superstore with borderline elbow degeneration also. It can be that simple. If we remove our rose-tinted glasses and stay true to the goal, do same for temperament. A nice-looking male with soft temperament should not be your choice for a bitch that's also soft-tempered. This goes for all flaws. So at the end of the day, make a list of faults in your dog. This will steer you to partners who have strengths in the same areas and who can hopefully complement or correct some of your dogs. Phenotype may not necessarily translate to genotype. Only an actual breeding can unravel what a dog will produce. There are no absolutes. Please accept the results before you can proceed with the lesson. When the results start coming, when actual breeding results and pups are on ground, record everything from the neonatal stage to the socialization stage to the low immunity window to when you actually place these pups in new homes. Record everything. Place pups responsibly into good homes where they will have the life that further achieves your breeding goal. If you are breeding a working dog and you place a strong character pup in a home where they're going to lock him up in the kennel all the time, you have shot yourself in the foot. You need to monitor your pups and their progress. When your pups have problems, as some will, naturally, some of your production will have problems. Offer take-back guarantees on objective issues. I'll give an example. Offer guarantees like, oh, your pups have been bred from parents with clear hips and elbow. Should your pups develop really bad degeneration in their hips and elbow, not due to environmental factors, you should be ready to take back such pup and offer them something better. Above all, take all the results you see as a guide for future selection. Please note, selection is your most powerful tool. Let me also speak briefly about kennel facilities. A breeding kennel is just a purpose-built premises housing dogs in their various stages of life. It must be spacious enough to allow the dogs to move freely, safely, without compromising the safety of other dogs, of the people around, and of themselves. There should be open grass runs for exercises and trainings. Attention should be paid to airing and proper ventilation. Appropriate materials should be used to prevent parasite infestation and enable control. There should also be a quarantine session for new or invalid animals. Flooring should be one that provides comfort, ease of cleaning, ease of drainage, and biosecurity. Good options to explore epoxy, vinyl, and rubber materials for indoor and gravel, grass, concrete, and non-skid ceramic tiles for outside. And consideration should be given to sustainability to the purposes intended. Permit me to pause here. As we cannot possibly exhaust every aspect of this topic, it is my hope, however, that this paper has touched on some pressure points that will lead to a new and more intentional approach to the breeding of dogs. Once again, I thank the board and management of GSDBA and COBA for providing me with this platform to share experiences with other breeders, and wish you all the best on the journey towards breeding improvement. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'll pause here for questions and comments. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. This has been a beautiful, detailed breakdown of the entire ecosystem of the breeding program. Thank you so much, sir. I think for this break, let's leave the ground open for questions to come in. I think we might have some questions from the chat platform, but then again, we'd like this to be an interactive session. So members, I like to believe that you are mostly mature people. So when you have questions, kindly use the raise arm tool. Then you can unmute your mic, ask your questions, and then mute your mic for the answers to be duly delivered. Thank you very much. The floor is open for questions.
All right, so I have a question. I tried to put this in the chat, but I'll just ask the question right away. What age of puppies? Considering most of the problems we've mentioned, as a new kennel that you're trying to get puppies. At what age of puppies do you advise? Would you advise kennels should be on the lookout problems like hip dysplasia? Because, give for example, in our Nigeria of today, most puppies are sold out before 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months thereabout. So now I've had this conversation severally, but I just want to have your own opinion. What do you think for a kennel that is trying to avoid most of those problems that can make a dog not to be breedable? Because at the end of the day, you're starting a new kennel and then you're getting dogs, and when it's time for you to breed such dogs, you are getting to know that, okay, these dogs have this, they have this, that will not allow the dogs to be bred, for you to be able to breed the dogs. And that's the case of most kennels. And eventually, because of maybe what they've spent and all, they still go ahead and breed such dogs. So what's your own advice so we can avoid such issues? Thanks, sir.
Okay. Should I respond to that or wait for other questions?
Yes, please, you can go ahead and respond.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so for avoidance of doubt, I'm just a breeder. I'm not a health expert or a subject matter expert. But however, for hips and elbow degeneration, there are set ages and period in a dog's life that is suitable to have a pre-screening done. And Professor Ajadi mentioned this at the other lecture last week. For example, within a year, between 6 months and a year, you can have hips and elbow x-ray of your dog without intending to certify those x-rays, because they will not be qualified for certification at that age. But it gives a breeder an idea of how his pups' elbows and hips are shaping out. And most of the time, especially at around 1 year, at around a year old, what you see at around a year old holds true for another 1 year. So it's safe to say that anything between 6 to 1 year, the truth of the matter is you have to spend money to raise pups. Yes, pups will be out of the breeder's house, anything from 8 to 12 weeks, but it's also, you're also duty bound to raise pups properly. Bones are delicate. Do not feed in such a way as to put mass that is beyond the capacity of the bones on those bones. Okay, so to answer your question, anything from between six months to a year, you can do a pre-screening. I don't know if that answers you, sir.
Thank you
All right,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so we currently have 2 hands up. Please, members, this is an interactive session. No question is a small question. Every question is welcome. We are all here to learn. At the moment, we have 2 hands up. We'll take the first one from Engineer Ibong, and after that, we'll take another question from Dr. Femi. So we'll take them one after the other so that we can get the answers and then move on to the next question. So for the others who have questions, if you cannot use your mic, please use the chat platform, or you can raise your hand and then we'll invite you to ask the question. So Engineer Ibong, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending where you're joining from. My name is Ebon. Confirm we can hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Please, good evening. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
All right, sorry, I'm actually in a location that my network is not very friendly. The reason why I wanted to confirm if you can hear me, sir. Thank you for the insightful lecture. I've been able to pick 1 or 2, and also I think I have 1 or 2 questions. And first question has to do with the inbreeding that you condemn, that it is not advisable to do inbreeding. But my concern now is not really for us who are a member, but what about the people outside there? Sometimes when they want to purchase the dog, they will say, I need a dog, security dog. Most times they say, okay, I will need 2, male and female. As soon as they say I will need 2, male and female, it's already an indication that they will breed the dog. So what advice do we always have to for all these kind of people? Because most time, some of us as a breeder might want to sell it. There's opportunity for us to just sell and we want to sell it. I might not really have to lecture them about the inbreeding stuff. In this regard, what advice do you have for us to always give out to the consumer that might want to purchase through dog for security, but at the end they might want to do breeding? How do we convince them not to do inbreeding? That's one. Then number 2, you talk about space. Is there any standard space that we are supposed to keep our dogs? I'm asking this question because most of us do keep our dog in a cage. Do we have a standard dimension for this cage so that we might go back to check and probably improve on them? Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, let me take your first question. As breeders, we are ambassadors for the breed. So we are expected to stand up for the breed, speak for the breed, do what is right by the breed. So, and let this override our need for more. We all need money. But a A prospective buyer comes to you and wants to buy 2 puppies, male and female, from the same litter. It is your responsibility to advise such a buyer against doing that. Chances of them mating is very real. Advise them, rear its head. They're going to call out your name. People don't take responsibility for their mistakes in this part of the world. It's your name, their tongue, bashing you. Because it's clear they don't know better. Please resist the urge to sell 2 pups from same litter to especially novice owners. In the hands of, and I did not, okay, let me also note that I did not completely condemn inbreeding as a system. Inbreeding is responsible for the creation of our breed and every breed. So I did not condemn it, but it's indiscriminate and extensive use leads to problems that I've identified also in this paper. And so it should be used in a guided manner. That's with regards to inbreeding and sale of 2 pups from same litter. Then with regards to space, I've always been an advocate of putting your dogs in a kennel where you can stand inside the kennel. You, with your height, you can stand inside the kennel without bending. So all those kennels, all those things we call cage, that will put dogs that will be bending down to go inside them, they're not ideal. They're not ideal. You know, and we can go online and look for standard best practice in building kennels. We need to do better with our kenneling. Sometimes unsuitable kenneling creates barrier aggression in dogs. All those dogs, they say, oh, they're aggressive. Oh, they can guard. It's because they are cooped up. So they snarl at everything that goes past them. If you put those dogs in spacious environment, you will see a different temperament emerge completely. So yes, I do not have the standard dimensions offhand here, but you know, on the tip of my finger, I would say put your dog in a kennel space that is large enough for the dog to move about, is high enough for the dog to reach up, is spacious for the dog to not be rolling over in his excrement and wee-wee. So, and you can also further check online for more materials on kenneling. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. We have a couple of people waiting for questions. I think we'll take the next one now from Dr. Femi. After him, we'll take from Tim Hile and Omea, and then followed by Shubukola Ayomiku. So, Dr. Femi, you have the microphone.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufai. God bless you. We really appreciate your time out and the wealth of knowledge that you have shared with us today. Thank you so much, sir. I just wanna, I listened to what you said, and I kind of picked some point that I need you to talk more for the benefit of the trend of discussion in the group, in our WhatsApp group and every group we find ourselves. I feel that you touched some of the points, salient points that some that had voice that could not really talk are not really talking about. So because you hit those points and I saw it, so I just want to kind of flashlight on it so you could talk more in your own opinion, talk more about those points so that everybody could benefit from that. The slides are not numbers, so I don't know how to say slides this that I'm going to read from, but the one you said here that the breeder's work is difficult enough, without adding avoidable baggage, only the breeder who does not wear rose tinted glasses subject his dogs to objective and subjective third-party evaluation and real-life work and regular tests stand any chance of success. The point I'm picking there is subject his dogs to objective and subjective third-party evaluation. Now, and some of us have heard that people should not talk about our dog. We just wanted to say, oh, the dog is beautiful. Nobody should say nothing about that dog. Even obviously, when you see that this dog is not good, and we just, I don't know, for one reason or the other, and everybody is trying to play a safe game to be politically correct. I don't want to talk about that dog because the owner will be angry with me. And personally, I feel it's not helping the breed if we come together under the same umbrella. From this strong point that you made, that if we don't have any skeleton, though you said every breeder, every kennel has a secret, but for Sussex, this point is you saying here that we should be able to entertain third parties' subjective or objective opinion. I would like you to talk more about that. Probably it will help the general membership. Then the second paragraph on that same page, you said possible breeding goals are the creation of police dogs, 1, military service dogs, 2, narcotic dogs, 3, show dogs, therapy dogs, seeing dogs, etc. So a breeder can choose to say, I'm breeding this dog as my breeding goal just to service the police. Or I'm breeding this German Shepherd to service a therapy dog as a therapy dog. And a therapy dog is not expected to work as a military dog. Neither is a narcotic dog expected to work as a police dog. I need you to talk more on these breeding goals because it is a form of confusion in the group. Though most of us silent and just let things slide, but this will help us more. Because if breeder A said, I'm just breeding for narcotic or for therapy, breeder B is breeding for military or police. You are expecting different things from those dogs. Or did breeder A say, okay, my dog is just for the show? I'm breeding, my goal is to breed the dog to go to show, not military, not police, not service dog, breeding for the show. So I just need you to buttress on this because these are the sensitive points that we have issue with in the group, and you just hit it with this single page that I picked from. I need you to have the healthy discussion in the group from your opinion of this point that you have raised, sir. Thank you so much. I rest my case for now, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Mal. I really appreciate your comment and insights. Okay, by third-party evaluation, I'll give 2 objective examples and 1 subjective example that will leave nobody in any doubt. Okay, so for example, we all love our dogs so much that when people criticize our dogs, we take it as people criticizing an extension of us. So our ego comes into play. And rather than listen to objective criticism, which is designed to help us improve, we get angry, become upset, and we lose sight of what has been said. As long as we are that way, our potential to improve is limited. We must be ready to take criticisms. of our dogs. Okay, so yes, on the group, I have seen a bit of a push from the work-centric people and the show-centric people. And it is fireworks. All the time it happens, it is fireworks. But you know, I have also said that in this paper, I have mentioned where, just a minute, I want to go back there. Okay, I've also said that irrespective of your breeding goal, even if your breeding goal is to produce West German shoreline, a West German shoreline must be a healthy dog. It must not be cow-hocked. It must not have a easty-westy pattern. It must have structural, skeletal, musculoskeletal integrity. It must have sound nerves. Yes. For a shoreline. Yes. Because that is what our breed says. A shoreline is not an excuse for a decrepit dog. No. It should not be an excuse for a fearful dog, for a sick dog. No. You see this all the time. And until we draw a line, our breed will continue to suffer. Yes, even a pure shoreline dog needs to be healthy, needs to have sound musculoskeletal health, good heart health, good eye health. His blood must be screened for hemophilia, screened for a whole lot of disorders and genetic issues. Yes, even for a shoreline dog. And a shoreline dog must be loyal. Every GSD must be a loyal dog. A dog that will attack your child, that will attack any member of his human family, it's not a GSD that is worthy of his name. Because a GSD is a loyal dog. It does not matter what side of the divide it is. If it is in therapy, if it is in site work, if it's in service work or in military, it should not turn on its human pack, whether the pack is 1 or 5. A German Shepherd dog must be a stable dog. It's not a dog that will go berserk at the sound of thunder or a gunshot. Some dogs during Christmas and New Year fireworks, I lack for us to describe them. When they hear the sound of fireworks, they lose it completely. They lose their nerves. That's when you will know the type of nerves that dog is carrying. A true German Shepherd is a stable dog. He will respond to external stimuli in a calm manner. He's not skittish. He's not timid. Neither is he aggressive. And a good German Shepherd, a well-bred German Shepherd, is also an intelligent dog. So, irrespective of the side of the divide we find ourselves, we should aim to produce healthy GSDs. Whether they are show or work, they should be healthy. They should be loyal. They should have sound nerves. They should be stable. They should not be fearful. Some of these dogs are emperors in their homes. But once you cross the road to the other side, you enter another street in unfamiliar environments, you will not recognize your dog again. You'll be hiding behind you. Those are not worthy GSDs. We should keep in mind to not lose willingness to work with humans. That's breedability. Willingness to work with human family in our breed. We lose that, we lose a vital core of our breed. And we should not be breeding in that direction. Okay, now, by objective third-party screening. If you take your dog to the X-ray lab, whatever radiographs are taken there, those are objective. It's not the opinion of anybody. It's not the opinion of your enemy or the person who doesn't like your type of dog. No, that is science. That's objective. If they put a 6-foot straight wall on the field and ask every dog to scale it to the other side, and only one dog can scale it, that is the only dog that qualifies. All the other dogs do not qualify, they do not meet standard. In fact, by the way, our breed started losing its walk capacity when the straight wall was replaced with the A wall. So we need to be a bit more dispassionate when reviewing our dogs. Yes, we are emotionally invested in them and they're members of our family, but we should be able to also clearly define what is what. The dog has poor hips, we don't breed. It's as simple as that. No matter how you like the dog, you don't breed the dog. Professor told us the other day, you can manage to get better and better results from each subsequent generation, but you cannot completely breed out some of these issues because they're genetic. Okay. With regards to possible breeding goals, yes, our environment in our climes, we are just taking off in a proper manner. What we have done before have just been a haphazard, once in a blue moon kind of performance. But things are just taking off properly, and it's important to take off properly so that we will go far. You know. So, for example, there seems to be a preponderance of people who want to walk their dog, that is only walking dogs that qualify to be GSDs. To a certain extent, they're right. But you see, every bred German Shepherd should have the capacity to walk, even if it is not walking or in a walking home. You should have the capacity to walk. And we should strive at that. This is strictly my opinion. Thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Appreciate your inputs.
Thank you so much. These are some very hard truths and very, very pertinent to consider. The German Shepherd is the German Shepherd, and it must be a dog that has capability to work. To the next question, Tim Healy. After Tim Healy, we have Nene Udensi, and then we have a question from one of our viewers from YouTube. But after the two who have raised their hands up, I will then read out the question from online. So, Tim Healy, Lord Mayor, you have the microphone. Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Speaker, Mr. Rufai. I'm happy to finally see your face. Yes, so my name is Tokumbo from Timile at Lord Mayor Kennel. And I want to share one of your slides, which actually is of importance on the entire subject matter. And let me just read through. Took a screenshot and I'm reading through. It says a GSD possessing a valid pedigree recognized by the WSV/FCI with certified hips as normal, almost normal, certified elbows as free, intermediate or mild, test at least under, assess at least good under a judge at a recognized breed survey, is DNA profiled and has passed the test, becomes breeding stock. So in this slide, if we categorize every other things, it shows that It highlights the show, it highlights the DNA profiling, it highlights the hips and elbow examination, it highlights the breed survey, and also highlights the character testing of the dog, right? So in as much as I have categorized them into 5, I also strongly believe that OBA, the National Kennel Club, has been able to fulfill all these categories. However, I would appeal to our breed club to see how this education can be passed across membership in such a way that members, breeders, obliged to actually take the health HDED seriously as a requirement for breeding plants, and also to see how this is infused or, don't know, is kind of made the mandatory tool so people take them more seriously. I mean, we have the options of the FCI hips and elbow examination as well as the WSV. So I feel the club should educate more into the health testing of the dogs, which is actually the primary subject of breeding stock, and also the character test. So since we are just a newly found club which has much more to offer in the nearest future, I believe that these first steps should be part of what should be the educative tool to other things to follow. So I'm just reiterating with what you have shared, that the breed club should, I'm appealing that the breed club should see how best this subject is more educative on the platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Hello, can I quickly make a comment on that?
Yes, please, you can go ahead.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Lord Mayor. Pardon me, one of the core mandates of a breed club at any level is provision of education and information to its members and the public, because it is by raising the life with dogs. So yes, and I think they are doing fantastic. Yes, there's room for improvement. They can do better. And as members, we should also not shy away from bringing forward recommendations, advice to the board and the management on how to do this better. Yes, we must provide information. Our job is actually first to educate our members, ourselves. Because as we educate ourselves, we now go out and educate people we come in contact with. But, you know, I'll give you an example. If you're a part of a breed club and you're on the streets engaging in colloquial terminology like slant back, I mean, it questions your membership. of any club. So the club's role is to provide education to his members, build his members up so that they will be, ambassadors, lift the level of education and awareness in the public at large. Thank you very much for your comments, sir. It's my pleasure to see you here, sir.
Thank you very much. That was quite succinct. We'll quickly move on to the next person. We have two more people. We have Rare Wolves, and then we have Aegon. Nene has been on the line, and she will take the next question. So, Nene, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Rufai. Thank you so much for this beautiful lecture. Now, I wanted to ask, if a true breeder goes through this process of breeding and trying to breed right, how then do people like us get to get a dog that is for dog lovers? Because if I'm going to get a dog, if I have a... Hello? Hello?
You are quite audible.
We can hear you.
Nene,
Okay,
go
yeah,
ahead.
okay. If I have a dog who doesn't scuttle when there's fireworks, and I have a dog who can walk, who can fulfill all these attributes, how then do I get a dog that I can just love and pet just to be around me? That's one. Then number two, from these shows that we've attended, there are lots of dogs that have come into that have a FCI, WSV, BBL, KKL, according to Egon. And we see them in showgrounds. You see them being dragged on the ground. How did they come about breeding, and how come they have all those documents that will make one think they should be breedable? I hope I'm understood. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was having some network challenge, so I didn't quite get your question. I don't know if you can repeat. Sorry, ma'am. Or if somebody who heard clearly.
What I'm saying is most of the dogs that we bring that come into the country that have FCI, that's the second question. They have FCI, they have KKL and all that. You find out that in showgrounds, you find out that a lot of them are being dragged on the ground. A lot of them are running away from the judges. A lot of them are trying to attack the judges. How come they were allowed to breed and then come out with those kind of documentation? That's the second one. Then the first one I asked was, for people like us who are dog lovers, most especially, how do we then get our choice of dogs if we have to go through all these attributes? Now, I have a dog who I think it's for maybe just a pet, because we've been told in other seminars that dogs have been bred for different purposes. I need a pet dog, and I'm going to look for a dog that someone like Rare Wolf has bred. How do I then get those my puppy standard, my pet standard dogs, if I can go through all this breeding process that you've highlighted? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma. Okay, if I got your first question right, that we have dogs that have been imported into Nigeria with FCI paperwork, FCI birth certificates, and they have class 1 recommended for breeding. They have shoes on titles, they have working titles, but they come into Nigeria, and when you see the actual dog outside of the paper, the dog is fearful, the dog is aggressive, the dog has character issues. The dog does not truly represent the paperwork that what's responsible for this, and how do we navigate our way around getting the right dog that is breedable and that has the right paperwork behind it. Is that your first question, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, we can admit to ourselves here that our system of selecting breeding stock is not perfect. Let us admit that to ourselves. You see those entire line of VAs. I kept saying, I said something earlier in the paper that you need to do a lot of research. Research. If you want to buy a dog, go and look, put above and below the line of that dog. Who is his father? This is his father. A. What titles does he have? Can you check on each of those titles? He has class 1. Where did he get his class 1? At what age? Under what judge? What show? Now, where is bite work? He has a Shizon title. He has IGP titles. Where are his field work? The field tests. The videos are available now, unlike before. All of this is available at the tip of your fingers now. Where are his bite work? You will see VAs failing to engage. So whatever they have written in the paper for that VA dog, you have seen him fail to engage a decoy. You know you don't want such a dog or a pup bred out of such a dog in your family, in your breeding. So you need to look beyond the paper because we have a system that is imperfect, as I've said. And then again, it's also human. The human part of breeding also comes into play here. So sometimes I'm not going to mention names so that people don't go and start quoting me in the wrong manner. Most of these breeders are also judges. They judge dogs, their friends' dogs. Their friends also judge their own dogs. And they do pat my back, I pat your back. And all these dogs get breedworthy and they push them forward and their breeding career goes forward. But you that want to spend your hard-earned money, you should become a knowledgeable buyer. If there's any investment you want to undertake in breeding, you should start by investing in yourself. Become a knowledgeable buyer. There are people on this webinar now who can tell you 5 years that failed bite work or passed only at a second time or a third time. How did they know? It's by finding out what shows. If you have to subscribe, pay some subscription to watch those shows, please do. So that you don't end up with the wrong, you are going to end up with the wrong dog if you don't invest in knowledge. You should become such I lack for the word, such a reservoir of knowledge that once you see a pedigree, there's some things you can quickly look at and you can tell that things are not aligning. So you need to look beyond the paperwork. Yes, we've got to that stage to look beyond the paperwork. Look at the dogs, go and check their results, go and check their videos, go and check their performances before you part with your hard-earned money. That's what I'll say with that. FCI is not perfect. No organization is perfect. Nobody is perfect. But you should also not lose your money. And the way to not lose your money is by searching for knowledge. It's available now. Knowledge is out there. Now, about getting the right dog. Okay, yes. Okay, even in-house, someone like Rare Wolves is doing a fantastic job. Not everybody is going to be Rare Wolf. In fact, I wish that day will come that the show people too will be as strong as Rare Wolf in our group. Do we have healthy dogs? Not cow hog dogs, not sickle dogs, not easty-westy, not roachback, not kennelback, not saddleback. Sound structure, sound movement, good temperament, healthy, loyal dogs in the show line. Because the truth of the matter is, the average home cannot handle a strong character dog, a strong character GSD. The average home cannot handle. And they quickly become a problem, and then they will blame the breeder, they will blame the breed. So the average home wants a mild dog, but we don't have to dilute our dog's character, but we can have a stable dog. We can put a stable dog in the average home that they will enjoy. A stable, healthy, loyal, intelligent dog in the average home that they will enjoy, that will speak for our breed in the community of breeds. So the way to get the right breed in dog is also to invest in knowledge. In Nigeria, as we speak, there are people breeding purely from show lines. Ask them questions, at least at the minimum. Now, they are doing DNA profiling. It's for the paperwork, so that you know that the dog you are getting is actually from the stock that the claim is coming from. At the minimum, also, they are doing hips and elbow. Do that also. If you want to buy a pup and they've done, and the parents, they claim, oh, they are hips and elbow tested, to see the radiographs and the certifications. You are already on the right path. We have not, we will get to, one day we will get to testing for heart, eye, blood, we will get there. But you know, we are coming from where we are not testing for anything. So now we are testing for something. So we are making progress. But guide yourself, man. Arm yourself with knowledge, and don't part with money until you are a knowledgeable buyer. That's what I would say about that. I hope I've addressed these two concerns.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, man.
Wow, thank you so very much for that. To manage time, we'll quickly move on to the next question. Rare Wolves, you can have the microphone now. Right after you, we'll have Aegon. Rare Wolves, you have the microphone.
Rare Wolves, the mic is still muted.
Oh, so sorry. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Rufai. Thank you so much for finding the time to teach us from your pool of knowledge, sir. We appreciate. Okay, so I have two questions. The first one, I would like to quote the breed standard. So I'll be quoting the breed standard. I don't know if you can still hear me like this. Can you still hear me, please?
I can hear you clearly. Please go ahead. Good evening.
Thank you. Okay, so I will start from the first topic on the breed standard, which is character. So the breed standard says the German Shepherd dog must be well balanced with strong nerves. In terms of character, self-assured, absolutely natural, and set for stimulated situations, good-natured, as well as attentive and willing to please. They must possess the instinctual behavior, resilience, self-assurance in order to be suitable as a companion, guard, protection, service, and herding dog. Okay, so and now my question is, the character being the first topic on the breed standard and the only topic that has the word must used, do you think that should be the most important thing we're actually looking out for, since it is the only one that has must in everything written here? My second question, sir. Now that we are becoming a little wiser, our eyes are our eyes are open now. Unlike before that you just send money to Europe or Asian countries and then just bring in anything they send to us. Now that our eyes are open and many of us have the money to even go and see these dogs before bringing them in, would you suggest that every dog that has titles like IGP, Shoothound, FH, working titles in general, any dog that has such titles, would you suggest that when we are buying and they are handing over the pedigree of the dog to us, we should as well request for the workbook of that dog, since it is now useless for the seller? It is totally useless for the seller. Do you think we should now, start requesting for the workbook? And what I mean by workbook is every dog that has been to working trial gets a workbook from the club. That workbook is what they use. Everything they've done, everything they've participated in that has to do with working trial, IGP, FH, SPR, UPR, whatever it is recorded there. Everything recognized by FCI recorded there, and regardless of wherever the dog is coming from. Yes, every dog has a workbook. So do you think it is time we start advising our people to start requesting for those workbook? Because myself, I've done a lot of research. You made mention of that videos are everywhere. No, sir, that is not entirely true. Videos are not everywhere. There are lots of videos that are missing online. But at least the workbook cannot be missing too. Yeah, they should tender workbook. And yes, I practice what I'm trying to preach. I've only, imported one dog. And when I saw titles on the dog, I requested for the workbook, because maybe I'm overreacting, but I think it is just the normal. Would you suggest every other person should start requesting for this? Because after the dog leaves a kennel, the workbook is now totally useless for the breeder or the previous owner. So it is best, if it is with the new owner, at least. So those are my two questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Werewolves. My first time hearing your voice. Oh, okay, no, I've also heard you on videos. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so your first question. Yes, the standard starts by defining the character part of our breed. This is also similar to most breed standards. If you look at other dog standards, they start with character. But you see, experience has shown that for example, all of these words in this character preface of the standard, look at the words again. Well-balanced. What's the definition of well-balanced? Good-natured. What is the one definition of good nature that we all agree to? My point is, yes, character is important to the originator of the breed. The most important part of our breed was character. Yes, and character should also be our most important consideration and criterion. A weak-nerved dog that's fearful of everything, a dog that does not have the backbone to face external stimuli, a dog that is afraid of his own shadow, a dog that is looking everywhere, fearful, timid, skittish. It's not our breed. Character is very important. I totally agree with the originator of our breed. It's been quoted severally, talking about work that should be used to judge our breed. You know that. Asking for workbook. No two dog import transactions are the same. And when we are buying dogs from abroad, we are buying into relationships. We are buying into contacts that we've developed. You don't just go to a person that you're buying dog for the first time. He doesn't know your capacity to properly campaign his dog. And some demands of him. Because you're paying, it is your right. Materials like workbook. You can also do your research. If you're buying in the whole of Europe, the countries where you can get good dogs with work capacity, they are not more than 5. If you are serious about investing in work bloodline German Shepherds, you should have friends in those countries. Friends that reason, whose thoughts are in alignment with yours. Friends that you can call up and say, hey, big man, I'm buying a dog from this place, this particular line. What do you think? What are your impressions? There's a trove of information. Breeders like to talk. Do you understand? So get second opinion, get third opinion. In addition to, you cannot go wrong by asking for information, by asking for additional information. You can't go wrong. It's your money. And this money is not getting easier to make. Yes, ask for workbook, ask for the videos. You watch IGP, didn't you watch that? You are saying there are no videos available. There are bites at Bonding Sugar Chow. There are bite videos available showing how dogs are placed. They are online. We can discuss this in the club. Do you understand? For some are kept where you need to subscribe. You need to make those sacrifices. Subscribe and get those information. Look, the world has become so easy, and then we become lazy. In time past, we used to beg people to help us buy BSZS videos, CDs. They will now send to us to watch. You'll be watching this maybe 4 months after the 9 real time as the cigar is going on. We need to do more work. And when we do more work, we will benefit in the quality of dogs and the type of dogs we get. Yes, I agree. Yes, the workbook is completely useless to him, to the old owner, except he has some other agenda. Yes, it's your right to ask for any information that helps you, that gives you some comfort as to what you are purchasing. I agree with you. And kudos to what you are doing. I more grace to help us out.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
That's wonderful. That's a beautiful expose into some of the chemistry of our dogs. I'll quickly read out some questions that are in our chat section. There are 2, but we'll take them one at a time before we come back to one more person who has his hand up. So the first one says, well, first off is from Engineer Mame. It says, thank you very much for this interesting education and discourse. The question goes thus: talking about selection of breeding pair, which do you give priority to? The phenotypical features, which means the dog you see in front of you and the associated faults, or the genotype, trusting the pedigree and ancestral details? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Engineer Mame, I agree. Okay, so you bring me back to this old, this classic phenotype versus genotype discourse. As breeders, we are concerned with blood, and that's genotype. But you see, you don't see genotype with your naked eyes. It's the phenotype that shows you what the genotype is. Why we are looking for the genotype, that's what we need. It's phenotype that will guide us. So we work with a bit of both. A dog cannot phenotypically carry all the traits that align with the standard and yet produce dogs that do not align, dogs that are completely or to a large, substantially different from himself or herself, and you will continue to carry that dog forward as a breeding dog. That dog has, see, breeding to a large extent is like old photography. After you have taken the pictures outside, you're not going to a dark room and go and print it out. Now, when you, after breeding, yes, you have studied the pedigree. You have seen what they say the dog has been producing. But now you do your own breeding. That breeding will not tell you about the pairing. Is it bringing out the type of physical traits that you expected? If it is not, do you think it's because of the beach? Do you want to try with another beach with similar traits, or with a different set of traits to see? Eventually, breeding, we breed for genotype, but we are led by phenotype. Phenotype will lead us eventually in the direction of the right genotype. I don't know if that is clear enough, but I don't know how I can explain it better right now. And I think Mame knows as much of this as I do, if not more.
Thank you very, very much for that great answer. Unfortunately, Mame was sending that question from external sources from YouTube. It was an interesting question, so we brought it in. I'll take the next question real quick. This is coming from Ifezwe Vivian, one of our GSDB executives. She goes on to say, yes, I agree with you on this. Not all dogs need to be bred. Not all buyers and owners should breed. Not all males should stud, and not all female is a good brood bitch. But how do we tell this to puppy millers and clients whose sole aim of purchasing 2 dogs is just to breed and cash out? How do we manage this engagement? Thank you.
Okay, let me quickly just respond to this by saying that we here are the people who are serious about our breed and are serious about the future of our breed. Our concern is not the short-term lure for money. So I can't speak to, I'm not speaking to the puppy millers. I don't expect that they are here. People who are here are people who are serious, who have a passion to do better. Those are the people that we are speaking to. We can't speak to everybody. We can educate, we can advise, we can inform, but they will continue to do what they want to do. Puppy millers, as long as there's a market for them, they will continue to try. But you see, when we raise the bar, for example, if our club is out there, active and aggressive in the public, informing the buying public to demand for some answers from breeders before they part with their money. Madam, before you purchase your next dog, have you asked the breeder for hips and elbow x-rays? Can the breeder provide valid pedigree? Are the dog's DNA profile? They will now start asking you, what is all this big grammar? Our club will explain to those who want to know. And when they start asking the millers, the puppy millers, their population will reduce. They will come here and learn to do things the right way. Our business is with ourselves. Let us educate ourselves and arm ourselves with the right tools. By the time we stand as good ambassadors of our breed, most of those people will fall in line. Trust me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much for that clean, clear answer. It means as members, as a club, we have a duty to continuously educate the public, educate our society, and invariably, the right people will seek for the right answers. Next question from the chat platform. This is from Legit Pause. It's not quite clear, but I'll read it how he wrote it. He says, how many years can you sign in a contract of withdrawal of your pup that doesn't meet up with what the client wanted? Is there a limit or any time? Thank you.
I'm not sure I understand this question clearly either, and I'm not a lawyer. But we should,
Okay.
when we get into a contractual agreements, we should be properly and professionally guided to enter into agreements that are enforceable in our claims, because it's not everything that's enforceable here. You understand? And you know, the lesson I've learned over the years is that that paper, that contract, is as good as the person signing it. So if you are entering into a contractual agreement with somebody who has terrible integrity, you already know the answer. But like I said, please seek professional assistance in this area.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I just want to quickly note something. We have to be conscious of time. We have slated this seminar for 2 hours. We have about 10 minutes to go. So we have 2 hands up, one more question on the platform. So I'll take the 2 questions from the hands that are raised up. And then if time permits, I'll take the last questions from the chat platform. So right now, Omoni, Agon, your hands are up. Please, you have the microphone. After you, followed by Mr. Lana.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Mr. Rufai, I really have to appreciate your time spent with us. I have a few questions, a few comments, just to clarify some statements during the question and answer session. I think I will start from the subjective and objective review of dogs. I believe that is a major problem in our climb. I recall in my early days when I started breeding boo-boos, that was one thing that helped a lot because to a large extent, a lot of us had, let's say, almost the same level of understanding about the breed, which led us to training our eyes. And I mean, if you see a dog that has a cowhook, nobody should be scared to say this dog has a cowhook. That I believe is a major problem in our GSD club because we have a lot of people with fragile egos that the slightest mention of a fault is seen as an extension of attack or demarketing product. So I don't know because if that is not resolved, we really can't move. What will just happen is that everybody will just lock up as has happened. There's still problems because there's still going to be side talks going on around, and it doesn't help. I don't know whether there are mechanisms to remedy this, or it's just we should accept the fate and move on. That's one. Number two is are there guidelines that can guide against importation of crappy dogs into the country? Because you realize that we have a very limited pool to select from, and at the same time, we can destroy that little pool by just one single wrong import. So, is it possible to have like a guideline to say, for example, if you want to import the dog, I know that you mentioned you need to have a relationship with the breeders, you need to do research. So at least we've established that there's a part of research on the part of the breeder or the person that is importing. There's also what do I call it now? I just sort of like steps or maybe pointers to say, oh, okay, you need to request for a video to see how it interacts with strangers. As in, I'm just looking at, is there like a guideline, in your opinion, that we can say if we go through these 10 steps, and in the hope that the breeder is telling the truth, we should be able to get something good in, because our foundational stock is very important to where we want to get to. And if while getting this stock, there has to be what they call it, the purpose for bringing in the stock, not because of the titles or he has won this, he has won that. What is the purpose of why am I bringing in this dog? What character does he possess? What exactly does he possess? What does he throw? I'm more scared about what a dog throws than what I'm seeing physically, because you can be seeing a very beautiful dog, but it's throwing, when bred to different breeds, there's a pattern. So is there something that we can ask from the breeders to say, okay, yes, I love this dog. Uh, has been his production with 2-3 bitches? What has been what is common to those breeds that you can say for certain that this dog exhibits these certain traits? Then lastly, this one is a comment. You know, part of the things I learned from Dr. Carroll was that HD in itself, the work starts from the whelping box. And these are the things that I had to inculcate in my own program. The work actually starts from the whelping box. Apart from after doing your selection and breeding, the work starts from the whelping box. If there's not adequate grip in your whelping box for the puppies, especially when they start crawling, that's where problem starts. And I believe that it's very easy that it's when the puppies start walking that we start to pay attention to weight, to the environmental factors. But I feel that one thing that we miss out is from the whelping box. Some people use shredded paper. Some people use towels. The preparation of the whelping box is important, because that will, when the grip of the puppies while crawling will also help. And there was a study to that effect that was published, I think, sometime during COVID time. So I just wanted to just pass that as a comment. Thank you.
Good evening, Egon.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, so with regards to having some sort of import guideline, I'd say it's not so much as import guideline as to buying guideline. So whether we're importing or buying locally, we need a set of a guideline to lead us through the minefield. In my experience, when buying dogs, you will pay school fees. By school fees, what I mean is you will lose money, but you will lose money and get relationship. Let's put us, we are all breeders here. Okay, so somebody comes to you, wants to buy a good quality puppy from you. You have a litter on ground of 5 puppies. You've identified from your interaction with them that 2 of them are that quality he is interested in. And you have decided that you are keeping both. The rest 3 that are not of that grade are what you are selling. You will direct him to those 3. It's natural. You will not give to an outsider the fruit of your own labor. So that is where you need to cultivate a relationship. Dogman, a dogman knows another dogman. Cultivate relationship within your breed. You will soon see the charlatans and the quacks and the jokers. Serious dogmen know themselves. Even among serious dogmen, this example I just gave you, that serious person will buy from one of those three. Then in your mind, you have made a mental note that if this guy were to approach me again in another litter, I will give him one of my top 2 puppies. That guy is building a relationship with you. He's carrying your name to his kennel. And you want his kennel to be an extension to build on your own reputation. One day, it's you that will call him and tell him, I have a puppy, I have the right puppy for you. Money will not even be the issue. I have the right puppy for you that will make you achieve all that you wanted. The guy has built on relationship with you. He has paid school fees. So he will get one puppy eventually. Maybe he has bought 3 puppies. This is how it is. There are no hard and fast rule about it. And there's nothing like buying a foundation puppy, buying a foundation dog, and getting it right. If you do, you are lucky. Sometimes you will buy 10 dogs in order that you will now breed your own foundation dog. Those 10 dogs are not your foundation dogs. Those dogs will teach you about temperament, about health, about loyalty, about nerves, and none of them will be worthy as a foundation. But those dogs would have helped to build mental muscles to breed your own foundation. And that will now be your true foundation. There are no hard and fast rules, but you need relationship. And then you need all the information. If you are buying a puppy, you are limited to information about the parents. The parents' litter mates, the litter mates' offspring. What we save is as much information as possible. And as soon as you sense that somebody is not being that free with information or is becoming a bit offended by your persistent questions, walk away. You have nothing to lose. There are other breeders. So we also need to educate ourselves. When we say we want a working dog, work is different. Work is plenty. There are working dogs that nobody in Nigeria can handle. Nobody. One dog. And when you go and maybe meet the owners of such dog, and they ask and they look at your own background, where you come, what's your background in training, in keeping dogs? Most of those breeders are abroad. You see where they live? They're in the countryside, where probability of accidents of their dog killing somebody. You
No, I think, okay.
Our dear speaker, okay, maybe he's trying to make some adjustments. He's just rang off. Let's give a couple of minutes for him to come back on. Once he's back on and he rounds up with this answer to this last question, we'll have just one more question to take, and then we can close this seminar. But just so you know, since we are all members in here, any on every follow-up question can be asked inside the group, and then answers will follow suit. Thank you. Welcome back. We lost you for the last maybe 10, 15 seconds. So if you don't mind to recapture what you said. Thank you, speaker.
Okay, so I keep going back to the need for us to educate ourselves, also learn under mentors, reach out to people who are already doing what you want to do. The same way we are buying dogs. We are buying dogs from stock that is doing what we want to do. There are lines that are doing all these things. There are lines, established lines for 7 generations doing personal protection. We are not reinventing the wheel. Look for those lines. Find mentors. Pay school fees. Understudy people. Learn the breed. Learn the game. There's a game. Learn the game. Learn the breed. No serious breeder of dog who has quality dog, we should put him on a plane to somebody in Africa who just comes and flashes money at him. Those dogs that end up here, with all due respect, those dogs that, they don't have any problem to just send the dogs. It's because here is a dumping ground of some sorts. When you ask about the dogs you don't want to sell, educate yourself, you get lucky.
That's wonderful. Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. We'll be taking our last question. And after this, I've advised all the members, if there are any follow-up questions, they can be asked in our group WhatsApp platform, and then answers will be duly followed up with that. On the back of that, Mr. Lano, you have the microphone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for impacting us with wisdom and knowledge. Thank you. It's not more or less like a question, it's more or less like a plead. Maybe the plead might lead to a question. One thing I realized, having observed for a couple of years, is that a lot of us invest only on female dogs. And at the end of the day, it makes pulling from studying very difficult. Whereas we start seeing many of our dogs in Nigeria look alike. So it's safe to say this here because many of us are breeders. Is it possible how we advise people to still invest in male dogs because it's important to have good stud around? I see no reason why a breeder should be mating to one male 3 times in a row when it's not that that's the only male that is available. But we end up doing that because we only have few males available. So this is why I say my list to a question. In our present situation, whereby we only have few stud around, how do we go about making sure that we don't keep mating to just few particular set of males? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lano. Okay, absolutely. School of thought that says we should invest in more males than females. We should invest in more males, but it should be a guided investment. Look at the gene pool, the existing gene pool here, and see what is lacking. You can, with a practiced and discerning eye, you can see the flaws. Go to these shows and listen to what the judges are saying about the dogs that are being shown. So you can also, once you upgrade yourself, don't go and bring what's already here. Invest in what is not here that can complement and help what And trust me, you will have a dog that has value. That has, but if I were to import either sex right now, I'll look for it will be a male. You know, people don't look at the opportunities that exist with owning a prepotent dog. In an environment that is washed, as it is now, I doubt if you have up to 10 good dogs, 10 pedigree, DNA profile, health tested, good GSD stores. So there's big room for installed. The other question, sorry, I lost track. Can somebody remind me? Mr. Lano. Hello, Mr. Lano.
So I was saying that based on our current situation, what do you advise for any breeders to do since we don't have enough males? How do we go about it? Should we start skipping heats or what? I don't know. I don't know how to fix the problem.
Should we start doing what?
How do we go about fixing the problem? Do we stop mating our females or skipping it, or how do we fix it so that we don't keep mating to just one male?
Okay, one of the things that we can do, because good quality studies are expensive, but as a club, members can come together, pool resources, identify and headhunt 2-3 stores that will be useful for the entire community and bring in those stores to service our dogs, our beaches. You know, and that's a short-term solution, straight away. And under terms and agreement that will be agreed. But you know, we have problems of ego, problems of is mine, my dog, everything, you want to appropriate everything. So if we're able to get over that, it's not a bad idea to put resources to head on stores that will serve many breeders instead of just reaching a genetic dead end.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so very much. To encapsulate your last point, where there is a shortage of adequate or appropriate top males within the country or within our society, members as such could be advised in a structured format to seek out, top males globally and come together to bring in some of these males, 2 or 3, and this can help expand our gene pool and populate the dogs that we have here. On that note, I'd like to say thank you very much, our honorable speaker. You have done due justice to this topic. I have learned a lot, and I can say the same for a lot of our members. We'd like to say thank you very much on behalf of GSDBA Club and the members. Thank you very much. For our members, should you have follow-up questions, please do not hesitate to ask your questions on the group forum. On the back of that, well, God bless you. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing experience. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Real quick, we have apologies. We have an August visitor. We have the president of the Kennel Club amongst us. He's not our member, but he shares oversight in everything to do with cynology, and he'd like to give thanks. I'll let the microphone go now to Dr. Olakunle Showumi, and on the back of his greetings, we can then end this session. Thank you very much. Dr. Showumi, you have the microphone.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this lecture. Mr. Rufai has been very, very instrumental in, for those of us who have just gotten to know him recently. I mean, those of you, not those of us. He's been more of a mentor, of a friend, and very instrumental to the foundation of breeding right and making sure that we're on the right track, he and many others. I just want to thank you for everything you've been doing, and this should cut across all breeds. You should be more involved with lecturing us throughout, all our breed clubs, because this applies to not just German Shepherds, but all the breeds. And once we're able to get it right, I'm sure the sky is the limit. I just want to thank you very much, sir, for everything you've done and you continue to do in cynology within Nigeria, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Good to hear your voice too.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you so much. If we can get some final words from our club chairman, he's also on the call, joining us from the Middle East. Your Royal Highness, Obeda.
It's okay, Manny. Thank you. Dream Nest. I've known Dream Nest for a while, and we used to talk a lot once upon a time. Then suddenly we broke off communication. But I'm very glad that that was reconnected again. And most especially, I really think his depth of knowledge and for sharing his knowledge in this with the up-and-coming breeders and dog lovers, GSDBA, GSD, and also the National Breed Club in general. So thank you, Mr. Rufai. I really appreciate the lecture. So it's good to have you around.
Thank you very much. Feeling is mutual. It's my pleasure.
On the back of that, thank you so much. And we wish everyone a pleasant week ahead. God bless you all, and good night.
Good night.